You'll generate referrals. And I know, right, we're getting into profits, but we have to kind of think about that. So who are you really? And I know sometimes, right, we hear all the time, 7 streams of income. And don't get me wrong, get 7, get 10, get 12, get all of that. But I tell you this, all of your brands should have a common denominator. And that common denominator is not just you. Being a champion for your brand. You being a champion for your brand. Okay? If you don't believe it, if you don't think it works, you got to be a champion for your own brand.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Diamonds in the Rough Empowerment Hour. I am your host, Dr. Charmaine Powell, and it gives me great pleasure to come before you today. Amen. I know I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, but we had so much going on. But I came back with a brand new guest. Amen. I want to introduce her to you. As you've seen her video, a woman of God, Karen KJ Johnson. Amen. From KJ Strategy Design Studio. We want to help brand you and make you a better you so that you can represent you well. Amen. So I'm no further ado, let me introduce to you the woman of God. Here she is. It's KJ. Welcome, KJ.
Hey, Dr. Charmaine, how are you?
I am so great. I'm so just blessed to have you on. I've seen a lot of your things on Facebook. You're always branding. You're always putting your face out there. You're putting your quotes out there. You're putting inspirational, inspiring.
Yes.
I'm telling you. And it's like, I got to get this woman of God on this show because she's not coming to play, but she's helping building people. Because that's
right. Amen. Yes.
Building people. And see, I'm sure I know I can learn some stuff from you too, because I'm still yet branding myself. Amen.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Awesome.
About who KJ is and what you represent with this branding. Okay.
Yeah. You know what, Dr. Charmaine, again, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of your show. It is truly an honor and a privilege to be here. So just super duper excited. So you know what? It's always an interesting question. It's a question I ask all of my clients, right? We'll use you at Dr. Charmaine, right? Who is Dr. Charmaine Powell, right? But this is what I always try to help people understand, right? Especially our females. And that is this. First and foremost, I am a warrior, right? I have been equipped with everything I need in order to fulfill the divine purpose that has been placed on my life. I am a warrior. Yes. The second thing that I want you to know is that I'm an overcomer because, right, God lives on the inside of me. We know the enemy is going to come. He's going to try to throw everything at you, right, to get you off your game. But because of who lives on the inside, I know that I am an overcomer. The third thing that I want you to know is that I'm a masterpiece. Did
Yes.
you know that God spoke everything into an existence but me? He created in his image and likeness. I am a masterpiece. The
Yes.
fourth thing that I want you to know about me is that I'm anointed. You see,
Yes.
God has appointed me for such a time as this, and everyone that I come in contact with will prosper. I am anointed. And the last thing that I want you to know is that I'm a Nubian queen, right? I am of a royal priesthood. I build nations. And when man looks upon me, he is stricken with my beauty. I am a Nubian queen. If you take warrior, overcomer, masterpiece, anointed, and Nubian queen, Dr. Shemaine, you get Roman. You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? So I really
Yes.
try to help us to understand that before any roles that we wear, any hats that we wear,
Come
God
on.
created us as woman, right? That is your strength. That is your power. So I always like to tell you that first and foremost, right? Warrior, overcomer, masterpiece, anointed, and Nubian queen,
Yes.
right? So, what are the roles, right, and hats that I wear, right? So, I do own two amazing companies. One is called KJ Strategy Design Studio. That is a personal branding diversity consultancy, right? So people's like, wait a minute, where does diversity come from, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But basically, my targeted audience is the African American woman who is a professional, right, leader in corporate America and, right, that entrepreneur. And so, what is it that we do? We help you to truly unlock the essence of who you are at the core,
Yes.
right? Because a lot of times, because of the various systems and domestication, right, that exist, we have no idea who we really are. We actually being things that man say we should be. We're being things that the educational school says we should be, right? We're doing all of these things and we're not doing what the master has called us to do, right?
Yes.
So we help you to unlock the essence of who you are. We help you to embrace and own your culture differences, right? Because a lot of times we put that stuff over to the side. Why? Because society says that doesn't belong here. But I want you to know that that very culture differences that you own is the very thing that makes you unique, right?
Yes.
Allows you to be able to use your creativity. And when you do that, you can rock your confidence and showcase your brilliance to the world. Right.
Yes.
So that's what we do, right, at KJ Strategy Design Studio. There's another area in KJ Strategy Design Studio in which, right, we work with corporations and really helping them around their diversity and inclusion programs, right? And we do something really a little bit different. We tell them that the quotas got to be thrown away, right?
Yes.
Quotas doesn't matter,
Come
right?
on.
You can set a quota of, hey, we're going to make sure that our organization is diverse 10%, right? But here's the problem: you still got bias and you still have stereotypes,
Right.
right? So what we do is we tell you that the quota system don't work. We tell you that it's the heart system that
Mm.
has to work, right? So
Wow.
we got to begin educating and really helping people to understand these bias. And we're not blaming anybody. We're just saying this is just how it has been, right?
Yes.
This is what you've been trained. So now
Yes.
you got to untrain yourself, right? So that you can really be inclusive. Because here's the key to being inclusive, right? Women of color, man of color, no matter what it is, just simply want to be accepted and respected. We're not asking for, more than what you got. We just want to be treated fairly, right?
Right.
So it's really about understanding that, right? And I even posted the other day that, if truth be told, we all have bias, right? And stereotypes. We do, even within our own race, right? And so those are things that you have to begin recognizing and saying, you know what? I shouldn't judge you, right, by your cover, because we do that, right? We judge a book by its cover, right? Let me get to know him. Let me get to know her, right? And let me make my own decisions based on our interaction. So that's really what we help them do, right, around diversity and inclusion. Now, the second organization that I have is called the Brand Eye Academy,
Yes.
right? Dr. Shemaine, I have to tell you this, right? Is so interesting. I love how when God downloads things to us, right? Watch what brand stands for, because I specifically work with faith-based, right, females. Brand means that you boldly represent authentically the name of the divine Father. So boldly representing, authentically name divine Father, right? So when you hear about brand, and especially personal brand, right, it's really about, okay, who am I? Right? What am I, what do I want to be known for? But because you represent the Father, we go deeper, right? So in all that you do and in all that you say, are you representing him?
Say that.
Right? And that's really the key. Yeah. And so the I is because I teach four basic principles, which is inspire, impact, influence, and imprint. KJ, what does that mean? That simply means this, and I teach you this. I don't care who you are. I don't care what area of expertise you're in. I don't care what industry, right, you're in. These are the four things that should happen because your life should be an inspiration to others.
Yes.
People should say, "Oh, wait a minute. I like what they're doing." That your life should inspire. Your words should impact,
Say that.
right? You hear all the time about, your words can kill,
Yes.
right? And so you have to be mindful of what you are saying because the words that you use should cause an aha moment for somebody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's all about impact in the words that you use, right?
Yes.
Watch this. Now you got to lead by example. So now your actions come into play. That's the influence. Have you noticed
Yes.
that a lot of times people they'll do what you do, not what you say?
Yes.
So that's why it's very important to make sure that you're leading by example. That causes that influence, right? So now watch this. When your life inspire and your words impact and your actions influences, watch what happens. You automatically leave an imprint on
Yes.
the hearts and minds of the very people you encounter.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes.
it's all about the brand I.
Yes.
Right. So I primarily courses, right, that we teach you at the Brand Eye Academy is, of course, branding. We teach you connection, and connection is all about networking, right? We know that you can't live this life alone. You can't make it alone, right? You have to, it's all about lifting each other up, right? And here's the deal: there's enough pie for everybody.
Everybody.
If
Hallelujah.
only we would get that, right? If
Yeah.
only we would get that, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's enough for everybody. So it's about lifting, each other up. And so I love it because it's so we teach you branding, we teach you connection, we teach you communication. Right, you got to be able to effectively communicate with people. We teach you sales, right, and we teach you leadership. So really, when you think about those five areas, those are key to anything you do.
That's
They're
true.
key to anything you do, right? So those are my two. Look, that was a long introduction to tell you about.
I'm eating it up. You're really eating it up. It's
Yes, yes.
kind
So
of
yeah,
hot.
so those are. Say it again. Say it again, Dr.
I'm,
Shemaine.
I'm trying to find out how I can get in that academy because I need some of that.
Hey, I got some master classes coming up, right? So we can definitely talk about that. So we definitely have four classes coming up this month. But I tell you, right, so in addition to that, right, I am a mom. I do have a 35-year-old son who actually lives in Tampa, Florida. So I believe he's not too far from you, Dr. Charmaine. And then about 3 years ago, he blessed me with a beautiful granddaughter, and her name
Lovely.
is Legacy. So that's my life. And look, at the end of the day, KJ is a sports fanatic. I am a diehard Dallas Cowboy fan. Yeah. So that's a little bit about who I am. So just truly excited to be here.
But
Yeah.
that's awesome. How long have you been doing what you do?
Doing the branding, what? Interesting question, right? So officially, right? 2 years.
Okay.
But I've been doing it all my life, which is how I even got to where I am. One of the things that I learned, right? So I was a corporate trainer, right, in corporate America. I worked for, I'm sure you've heard a company called Verizon. So I actually worked for them for about 15 years doing their training and traveled all over the country, which was just phenomenal, right? So I was on the road 3 weeks out for. I worked for, again, another major company called Brinks. Again, you may have heard the armored trucks, right, who carries millions and millions of dollars, right, to banks, retail stores, convenience stores, right, what have you, and did their sales training for them. So, and then I worked for, at the time, was the largest senior housing organization out there for independent living, called Holiday, and I did sales training for them, right? So one of the things that I always found myself doing is, in addition to the curriculum, right, and helping them to go out, right, and do the job that they've been hired to do, I was always teaching how they should present themselves, right, as it relates to brand, because there was two things happening there, right, is that initially, right, the customer may allow you in their door because of the company that you work for, right? So that's one part of branding. But then the second part comes in now is your personal branding. So if you truly don't represent yourself well, and those of you that work for corporations, right, because you got to represent them, right? So imagine corporations who have 50,000 employees, right? They are expecting 50,000 employees, right, to really be able to represent them. And so when you don't quite live up to the values that they have established and things like that, that can put a damper on their business, right? So I found myself that I was always doing it. And let me tell you, Dr. Charmaine, look at here. I wasn't trying to teach nobody no branding. That really didn't. I didn't even want to do that. I was like, I don't want to do that. Lord's like, yeah, that's what you gonna do. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, yes, you are. And I was like, no. So it was a fight.
Yeah, it usually is a fight.
And I lost.
And when you lose,
Yeah. So, like I said, I've had my business for about 4 years now. And when I first started out, which is always an interesting question, people's like, tell me your story, right? And I really got thrust into this thing. I really have to tell you that. But I won't get into that. But initially, right, KJ Strategy Design Studio was really about helping the entrepreneur get started in their business. Right. So I was really about helping you with your structure, your vision, your mission, right, your core values, right, doing all of that. And I did that. And my targeted audience at the time was speakers, authors, and coaches. And why was that? Because when I was in corporate America, and at the time I worked for Holiday, there was an apostle in my class, him and his wife. And we was on a break, and he said, KJ, you need to be on a bigger stage. And I said, Apostle Fred, if you don't go to the little boys' room, if you don't go get your snacks, because you know the repercussions if you come back to my class late, right? Now, let me just say this. This wasn't the first time I had heard this. I've been running from this for 25 years. But anyway, we keep it short here, right? And so he told me that he was going to call a friend of his named Dr. Reuben West. And I said, no, you're not. And he said, yes, I am. Right. Yeah. So that evening, I received a call from Dr. West. He asked that question. So tell me a little bit about yourself, right? And I'm like, just a little country girl, born and raised in Dallas, how we do downplay, right, our abilities and things like that.
yeah,
And he said, you know what? Hey, I just finished my speaker conference. And he said, the next one is in 6 months. And he said, I want you to come and speak to the group. I said, excuse me, what? And he said, yeah, I want you to come speak to the people. And I said, come speak to them about what? And he said, they need to know how to sell themselves. They don't know how to do that. And I was like, what? And so I said, well, do you need me to send you a video clip, of me speaking? Because he had never heard me speak. And he was like, no. I said, okay, do you need me to send you my presentation? And he said, no. I just need you to send me a headshot and a bio, and I'll see you in 6 months.
Wow.
I said, what? And like I said, when I went, because it was speakers, authors, and coaches, right? That's really how KJ Strategy Design Studio got started. Yeah. And so, again, I was just really, on that branding. And I'll tell you another reason, too, why I was fighting so hard against branding. And that is the average person, when they hear the word branding, they immediately think that it's all about your colors, your fonts, your logo, and your tagline. And don't get me wrong, those things are very important, right? But that's not your brand. That's not your brand. That's a covering. That's the packaging of your brand. That's not your brand. And so a lot of people want that. Okay, can you do my website? Can you get my logo? What colors you use? And it's just like, yeah, you know what? I can, but that's not what I do, right? So I really help you understand who you are at the core, right? Because at the end of the day, this is what I always tell folks, Dr. Charmaine, is your logos, the first page of any social media site that you have, your colors, right? All of that is as if someone decided to go window shopping at your store. Right? They went window shopping. So they're peeking inside the window, right? Seeing, is it anything good in there? Right? That's all it is. It's an attraction, right? Because as humans, we do what? We buy with our eyes, right? It has to look good before we even taste it. Right? Why do you think the automobile salesman always is trying to get you on a test drive? Right? You saw it, now they want to get you in it, right? Because as humans, right, we've already done bought it with our eyes, but now if you try it out, right, it's yours. Yeah, because you're gonna figure out how to make those monthly payments. Isn't that something? And you walked in with a budget, right? So I always tell people that this is the same thing when it comes to your brand. Now, here's the deal. If you got good packaging, right? If it looks great and somebody says, oh my God, I can't wait till they open. And then they come in when you say, hey, the store is open. And then they come in and there's no substance. Okay. What is it that you have done? You have let the customer down. And guess what? A lot of times you won't get a second chance, right? Because I always tell you, right, you never get a second chance to make a perfect first impression, right? So what I do is just really help you to understand who you are, right? Dr. Charmaine, one of the things that I have found that people struggle with, right, as it relates to branding. Branding is complicated. There's a lot of different moving parts to it, right? Which is why it's so complicated. But I tell people, right, at the end of the day, it's really not, because here's the deal. It's really about, when it comes to your personal brand, it's really about what do you want to be known for? That's the question you need to ask yourself. What do I want to be known for? Right? Now, not your titles, not an author, coach, and speaker. Not that, because that doesn't matter, right? Because you can be a chef, right? And write a book. You're still an author. Speak on it, right? You're still a chef. You see what I'm saying? So it's not about the titles. It's what do you want to be known for? And the problem that we usually come across is we don't want to decide, or we hear, and you saw in my video clip, we hear all the time, you need to have 7 streams of income, right? And so what did I say in the video clip? Get your 7, get your 10, get your 12, get your 20. I really don't care, right? But at the end of the day, all streams should relate to what you want to be known for. You understand what I'm saying? You can't have a travel company, right? And I'm just going to go here. You can't have a travel company and you sell makeup. And I know it happens. Hey, I told the people we was going to have an exciting but candid conversation about personal branding, right? Because people are saying, well, wait a minute, I got to have streams. I understand that. But if you want to be known for makeup, right, and you selling makeup, then what are some additional things that you could do around makeup, right? You can be a makeup artist. You understand what I'm saying? You can teach people how to do makeup. You can have classes. So there's a lot of things that you could do around. You could write a book on makeup, how to apply your makeup. You understand what I'm saying? You can go speak to young people to teach them how to do their makeup. There's a lot of different things. See, all of those are different streams. But guess what? You're known for what? Makeup.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I tell people that the number one thing, right, is you got to love. I mean, love what you do.
Yes.
You got to love it. Y'all, I was just telling you, Dr. Charmaine, right before the show, right? As long as McDonald's has been around, their recipe for them French fries is the same. You understand what I'm saying? And they still advertising them as if they just came out yesterday, right? And so they have to do that because they got to keep it on your mind. There's so many different fast food restaurants, right? So I tell people all the time, you must love what you do. One of the things that I say, and I think I posted this probably yesterday, and I've posted it many times before, is you are a walking billboard for your brand. You are a walking billboard for your brand. KJ, what are you telling us? You need to live, you need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to breathe your brand.
Yes. That's true.
Yeah. So because you want people to say, Dr. Charmaine is the guru in this. Dr. Charmaine is because guys, let me help you here. Let me help you understand this, right?
Yes.
There's 3 things that really means the same thing, right? And sometimes we think that they mean different. So here's the deal. You could be an expert, you could be a guru, you could be a thought leader, right? Or area of expertise, all in the same thing. Okay? So we're not saying be a thought leader over here on that and then, be an expert over here. Nope. Whatever it is, right? You the thought leader, you the expert, you the guru, right? That's your area of expertise.
Right.
Right? And here's the deal. You need to know, right, your area of expertise backwards and forwards, upside down, all kind of ways. You understand what I'm saying? So you should always be studying, right, your area of expertise. You should be a part of professional associations around your, right, area of expertise. Right? So because there's always something new coming out, and oh my goodness, and let's not forget, God downloading things to us. You understand what I'm saying? So, this one of the number one things that I tell you, you got to figure out what is it that you want to be known for. And I tell you this, right? Here go another acronym, right, that God gave me. It ties into your gift. Right? So let's talk about that for a second, right? Your gift, you didn't learn it. Your gift, you didn't go to school for it.
Right.
Your gift, you didn't take a class for it. Now, you could have taken a class to enhance it.
Right.
But your gift was a gift given to you from God. You already knew how to do it, right? So let me help you today. My gift, teaching. I didn't go to school for teaching. but I've been teaching for over 30 years, right? That's
Yes.
I can do it with my eyes closed. You understand what I'm saying? And so you got to find your gift, right? So what does gift mean, right? Gift means your God's inner fruit transformer.
Right.
God's inner fruit transformer, right? What does that mean? That if you use the gift that He's given you, it automatically would transform the lives that have been assigned to you. And so I tell you, right, because sometimes people don't know what their purpose is. That's cool, but you know what your gift is. You know what you can do, right? That you didn't have to go to school for it, right? It's like second nature for you, right? It's kind of like that first love. You know what I'm saying? So I tell you to start operating in the gift. You begin operating in the gift, watch God move the puzzle pieces into place.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, right, we're trying to figure out, well, what am I supposed to be doing, right? But if you know your gift, start operating in it. Start operating in it. That was one of the things that took me forever, like to even leave corporate America, because I was like, well, I know I'm doing my gift. You know what I'm saying? I know the guy I'm supposed to be doing things, but here's the deal: I wasn't fulfilling my purpose.
Right.
Oh, I was operating in my gift, right? But I wasn't fulfilling purpose,
It's a different.
right? So it's tough, right? But when you figure that out, you now can know what you want to be known for because it's natural, right? It's not forced, right? Here's the second thing that we struggle with when it comes to personal brand. Um, well, and I'm gonna say business brand really is who we serve, right? And even in your personal brand, right? Who do you serve, right? Because we say, oh, well, I want to serve everybody because everybody can, benefit from my product or service. Well, I'm sure they could, but here's the problem: God did not assign you to everybody, right? He hasn't assigned
That's
you
true.
to everybody, right? So you got to, and here's the deal. I tell you why people, struggle with really figuring out who they supposed to serve, because they say, well, if I pick this group of people, then I'm leaving some people out, right? Or they'll say, well, I'm leaving some money on the table, right? But here's the deal:
Yeah.
even in you selecting the group of people that you're supposed to serve, you're not going to even get to all of them. You're still not going to get to all of them, right? Because there's so many people in the world, right? So the key is that, and I tell people all the time, people sometimes don't realize this. McDonald's targeted audience is children. That's really who they serve, is children, right? Their
That's true.
messages are for kids. But because the food is so good and whatever, what happens? It's overflowed into the adults. We almost beat the kids getting to McDonald's,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So, yeah, you just have to identify, your targeted audience. And again, you just got to love what you do because you got to do it day in and day out. I had a young lady the other day, was talking about, social media, and just posting, and it doesn't seem like people is liking and things like that. And I totally get it. I really do. But I tell people, right, you have to have a strategy around your posting, right? You have to have a strategy around your posting, right? So I tell you, typically, if you're doing two, three postings a day, or twice a week, or three times a week, right? One posting should be motivational or inspiration, right? Your second posting needs to be giving someone a tip about that area of expertise, right, that you want to be known for, right? And then
Yes.
the third one is advertising your services, right? That's it.
Right.
That's it. And you got to play that record over and over and over and over and over. And I know you probably said, "Oh my goodness, they gonna get tired of that." No, they not. You might get tired of it because you done seen it 100 times. But look, you got to put that stuff out there. You got to love it. You can't be changing up your colors. I
Yeah.
see people do that all the time. Look, when you choose a color palette, stick with it. Do y'all see McDonald's changing the color of them arches?
No,
Never. No.
because when you go from city to city and state to state, you look at the arch. That's their brand.
Exactly. That's their brand, right? Chick-fil-A, that little red, white chicken. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be switching it up. I had somebody one time ask me, well, Nike does. I was like, so let me help y'all today. When y'all get on the level of Nike, let me know. You understand what I'm saying? Nike is a billion-dollar company, all over the world. But if you really go check out Nike, Nike usually do stay to their black logo. Yeah, they'll throw in a
Yeah.
white every now and then, but I promise you they weren't doing that in their infancy stages, right? We now know them, right? And so
Right.
now they may do a little something, but for the most part, they stick true to their logo, right? And here's the deal, like I said, it's all about awareness, right? So if you're
Right.
constantly changing your fonts, if you're constantly changing your colors, how would somebody get to know you, right? Because it's about trust. It's about
Right.
trust. And so if you're changing all the time, I don't know what you're gonna do tomorrow, right? And that's the number one reason why people buy from you is because they trust you, right? It's the number
Right.
one reason why people, right, even make a purchase is they trust you. But I can't trust you if you change every day, from week to
Yeah.
week, so because it's like, man, I don't know what to get, right? So those are usually the things that I know it's hard, but I think that it doesn't have to be hard. It's what do you want to be known for, right? And you really need to know what your key message is. That's another thing that sometimes throw people off too is not knowing what your key message is. What is it that you really want to share? Right. So just like I told you, the four principles, right, that I teach, right? In any and everything I do, it's about inspiring, it's about impacting, it's about influence, it's about leaving an imprint, right, on the hearts and minds of people I encounter, right? I do that every day, all day, right? If you go look, guys, look, I'm gonna give you a simple exercise, right, to help you with your social media, right? I always tell you this, even on your personal page, okay, even on your personal page, scroll your personal page and your business page 10 postings. And in 10 postings, what would one conclude about you? So if I was to go to your page right now and scroll 10 postings, what message is your brand sending? Right? And I know a lot of times, right, we let people share things on our pages, and that's cool, right? Don't get me wrong, you can do that and things like this. But I always encourage you that, like, if somebody's having an event, right, and you shared it on your page, when the event is over, go hide that off your timeline. It's over.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to go hide it. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't let any and everybody post on your timeline. Right? So you got to check all of those things out. So I should be able to scroll. Anybody, think about that. People scroll 10 postings on your Facebook, Instagram, your YouTube, your LinkedIn, whatever social media profile you have, right? What message, what would one conclude about you? And if it's not one that you would want someone to have, then I just suggest that you change up what you're posting because
Right.
you have to be, here we go, consistent.
Right. Yeah.
Consistent. Yeah. Yeah.
That's some good stuff. Wow. I was going on and on because we have so much. Um, I did have a question. What do you say about
Yeah.
like for me? I have a lot of gifts.
Okay.
I,
Okay.
because I'm a publisher. I'm a writer.
Okay.
That's what God gave me. You know,
Okay.
so that's where I got Diamonds in the Rough Empowerment Hour because that was my first anthology that I wrote with other
Okay.
women. So my
Okay.
my my theme was all about empowering women,
Mm-hmm.
telling their stories, and then I went
Okay.
to this platform of you know shining, shine, taking the light and putting it on women of God. I've even had some men, but just shining the light on women and men who are making an
Okay.
impact in communities and wherever,
Mm-hmm.
just pretty much marketing people, putting
Okay.
the light on you and
Mm-hmm.
doing that. And then I know I'm sending a message about that, but then I'm also getting ready to do leadership training, more
Okay.
leadership training. So what do you say about somebody who have multiple brands? Is that too much, or do you have to stick to one? Or I mean, I don't know, how does that work?
Yeah, so here's the deal, right? So there are people out there, right, that are serial entrepreneurs, right? Which means they start businesses in a lot of different things. But here's the deal, they don't run them all. They hire people to run the businesses, right? So here's the deal. You said you was a publisher and writer. Those two things can go together. I mean, you're publishing books, right? You're writing. And if you're doing empowerment around women, I would assume, right, you're writing books around empowering women, right? And then your publishing company, right, could maybe be about that, but then you may publish other different types of books, and that's okay. I would tell you that primarily you would probably want it to be publishing women's book, since that's kind of the area that you flow in. Not that you would turn away a man, but you're not
Right,
marketing to a man, right? So if one comes and you're able to you could publish it. You see what I'm saying? But it's just not in your marketing materials. Your marketing
right,
messages is not targeting the man, right? You're targeting the woman, right? So you could do that. Now, leadership training, right? So when you think about that, right? Leadership training is a way to empower, because if that's what you're doing with the leadership training, to empower women to own their power, right, and know that you can go out and do whatever it is, then that's
that's
okay
right.
too. That's still all within empowering. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a
Right,
matter of us looking at all these different areas, just like we just did with you, right, and what makes sense. Right now, I would tell you this: the number one, right, you would want to have a website that's really about your publishing company, right? Because I would say that probably would be the number one thing that you really want to make sure is happening, right? You can write her, and guess what? And I don't know if you do this, right? Are you a ghostwriter? So do you ghostwrite?
I,
Do you know what that?
I haven't
Okay,
really go
so
through it.
okay, all right. So if you're writing your own books, right, and publishing them, right, you can still do that because again, you're a publisher, right? You can definitely still do that. So I don't think that what you're doing sends a different message about the various things that you're doing, right? You do
Right,
because again, it's the leadership training, and it's a matter of making sure that you use the word empower, right? This leadership training is all about empowering women. You see what I'm saying? So it's still coming from
yes,
your core of your message.
yes,
You see
right,
what I'm
right,
saying? And that's the key. So you got to
yes,
be able to connect the dots to where it
right.
makes sense and you still serving women. Does that make sense?
It makes plenty sense.
Okay, good.
That's
Yeah, so you can definitely do that. Yeah, and if you want, I mean, I got consultations are free, so you could do a 45-minute consultation, and right, and we can definitely go deeper into that. Absolutely.
yes, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, wow, this has been an awesome interview. Okay, before we go, I know you have
Sure.
some master classes coming up. Let everyone know how they can get a hold of you and participate in these master classes so that
Okay.
they can be better.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have four master classes coming up. I'm gonna see if I can't remember these dates off the top of my head. But if you go to my page, which I know Dr. Charmaine is running my website across there, and I think when you go to my website, you can click on the Facebook option. It'll take you to my Facebook page, right? But it's KJ Strategy Design Studio, and the Brand Eye Academy, right? So I use them both to kind of advertise the courses. But the first class I got coming up is September 14th. I want to say it's a Monday. And that is the Brand Eye Communicator. So that course is all about communication. Okay, so it's going to be 2 hours. I want to say 6 to 8. I try to keep them pretty simple, 6 to 8 Central. Okay. The next course, in fact, the next three courses I know is all the following week. So I think sales is next. The Brand Eye Sales is that following Tuesday. And I apologize, Dr. Charmaine, I'm not, so the 21st, I think the 22nd is the Brand Eye Sales. Again, 6 to 8. Thursday is the Brand Eye Diversity. And the Brand Eye Diversity is all about personal brand. Okay. Again, 2 hours, 6 to 8. And then that Saturday, so we 22nd, 26th, 28th, right? I believe 3 to 6 is the Brand Eye Leadership. Okay. So let me tell you this. Right now, I am running a special. Okay. Because the Brand Eye Communicator, Brand Eye Sales, and Brand Eye Diversity are normally $97. And the Brand Eye Leadership is $149. But right now, all four master classes are $49 through Tuesday. Okay,
Wow.
so you have to register Tuesday. So if you go to my page, you definitely will see the link to all of these courses. All you do is click the link for the one that you want. If you want to do all four, just go to each link because there's a link for each one and you can register on the spot, right? And then you'll get a welcome letter, a confirmation letter from me, right? And then you'll be getting the details to those classes. So right now, all of those classes, including the leadership, is $49 through, I think I did it through Tuesday. Okay, through Tuesday. But after that, they go back up to their regular price. So again, the communicator, the sales, and diversity are 97. So that it would go back up to 97. And then that Brand Eye Leadership, which is a 3-hour class, would go back up to 149. So I encourage people, if one or two, all four, whatever, if that's something you want, I mean, you want to get the best deal. Again, it's $49 through Tuesday. So you can, again, find me on KJ Strategy Design Studio. You can find me the Brand Eye Academy, whether you go to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm on all of those platforms. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I am so glad you took the time to share with us. I'm praying, even for the podcast listeners, please visit her website. Please visit her Facebook page. It will be investing in you and
Yeah.
making you even better and representing yourself and your brand. So we just thank God for you, KJ, and you stepping
Welcome.
out and not running anymore from the call, stepping out in that. And that inspires me because a lot of us are, when we first doing our thing, working our jobs and all these things, God is preparing us to walk in our
Yes.
calls. So
Yes.
all the time we're doing all these things, God is calling us to launch out into our purposes. Some people get comfortable and don't want to step out because they're feared. They say, "Oh, well, I'm going to pay this. I'm going to pay that." But God is calling us to step out by faith and trust that He's prepared you for this.
That's
He's
right.
equipped you
That's
for
right.
this,
That's right.
And when you finally walk out and step out in this thing, it fulfills you.
Yes, it
You know,
does.
you're not
Yes,
fulfilled
it does.
until you're walking in your purpose. So you're walking in
That's right.
destiny. So that's my
Yes.
huh. I love to push people, encourage people, empower people. It's in you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
World is
is.
waiting on you. And
Yes.
my favorite thing to say is to get up and
Right.
pursue your purpose. Don't
That's
stop
right.
being stagnant. Stop being
Yeah.
complacent. Stop. Come on. Because we've
Yeah.
all been there. We didn't want to
Absolutely.
step out. We go like, well, I'm okay here. No, but
Yeah.
there's a greater you waiting to get up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Yes, indeed. Just
we just
start
thank God
moving.
for gracing our platform today.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
All
I
right.
know you have other engagements, but may God
Yes.
bless you in all of your endeavors, and may God
Thank
increase
you.
you as you continue to obey His leading. Amen.
Indeed. All right,
Blessings
love.
upon
Thank you
you,
so
woman of
much.
God. Have a
All
wonderful
right. Thank
evening,
you.
and we
You
end out.
too. All right. Thank you, love. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome, my love.